Super.
Great. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for dialing in this morning. This is the first time that we've done one of these calls where half the team is on a morning call and half the team is on a later call. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure how it's going to go in terms of having the agenda done twice, but I'm glad that people have been open to trying it out because the time zones for us are quite challenging. So let's see how we get on. So going across to the agenda, I have made sure it's recording. That started. And Ash has said that he'll be late joining the call today. So for Fabian, we usually have an opening question when we do these calls, just as a sort of icebreaker. And for today, I thought the first question could be something interesting that you've changed in your home recently. And I thought that, Fabian, you might want to go first since your whole home is different.
I can go first. So I'm just in my new flat, which is very exciting. So everything has changed. You can see like there's still lots of boxes. So I think the most exciting thing for me is that there's a guy in our kitchen, and our new kitchen should be done by noon, which means we can actually cook again, which is great. So I'm quite excited about that. And then there's a million other things, like a new sofa and a new bed and boxes everywhere. So you can imagine.
Now, although the fun part of moving is when you discover things that you hadn't expected in the boxes, but I also quite enjoy finding new places for everything to live. It feels like you get a fresh start, completely clean.
No, it's quite nice, and the new flat that we have is much more spacious than our old one in London. So now I feel we actually have space where we can put things in a way that is not, okay, we have no space left, let's stuff it in a shelf somewhere, which is quite nice. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, nice. Tone, and something for you?
Well, one thing I've been doing, it's it's a small task I've been doing around the house, but I have a gate that goes from my driveway to my garden, and at some point it was all rotten and it fell apart. So I patched it up and fixed it again. I think I inserted like maybe 50 screws to put it back together with the rotten wood, but it holds for now. Someday I'll make a new gate, but that I didn't get to that yet. I'll post a before and after picture here in chat to see what I've been doing.
Nice.
Who's next, Valerie?
Yes. A few days ago, I've tried to install air conditioner. I mean, I've hired the guys who did that, and so they damaged my wires. So I have half of my house doesn't have electricity now. So it's
But it's cold then, or what?
Sorry?
It's cold. The air conditioner is working.
No, it's actually very hot now. So it's actually air conditioners work. So it's okay, but TV doesn't, and a few more stuff don't work too. So it's the most exciting thing. So it's pretty much all about me.
Oh, that's quite frustrating. Well, I'll take the last one. I quite enjoy spending time in the garden, and the most interesting thing that I've changed lately is I bought a bird bath. It sounds bizarre, but I bought a bird bath to put in the corner because my daughter quite enjoys feeding the birds when she goes to her grandparents' house. So I'll paste also before and after. So the photo on the left is from 2015. And the photo on the right is what it looks like now. So it feels like with that last edition, it feels like this area of the garden is finished. So I'm very happy with that.
That's a very pleasing arrangement. It looks really nice.
Thank you. It feels like a lot of learning has gone in there, and thankfully the dogs haven't dug it all up to pieces. So.
Yeah. Are these Japanese
also nice.
maples?
Sorry, say that again?
Are these Japanese maples?
They're Japanese aces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm not sure if aces and maples are the same things, but yeah.
It's also nice to see you added the daughter there. It's it's nice to have her in the picture.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so going back to the agenda, the first thing I wanted to talk about today was there was a issue that Camille opened about talking about different maintainer models, because the ratio of developers to maintainers has been a hot topic lately. And I suggested that maybe people trial different maintainer models to see what works for different teams. And we're in a very fortunate position that we actually have 3 maintainers in our group. So it wouldn't really be too much of a chore for us to try something different without impacting other people. And I'm just interested to hear from others what their opinions are about this. Also, I know this is something that we could have discussed async, but I wanted to have something to talk about in the meeting today. So yeah, keen to know your thoughts.
So there would be 3 rounds of reviews then.
Well, I wasn't proposing 3 rounds of review. I was proposing the normal review that happens at the moment, and then someone from the Geo team does the merge. And then if we feel that we need to then have those merges double checked by someone different after the fact, then we can do that. But to keep the reviews and the merges inside of the team. And when I went back and looked at the stats over the last 2 milestones, I found that more than half of the time, that's what we're doing anyway. I found that the only time that we used the roulette was 5 times out of those 50. And quite often, yeah, like I said, more than half the time we're actually just doing it ourselves anyway. So either trying to bring the reviews and the merges into the team, and we just try it like that, and see if we feel that anything has been missed or anything has been missed out after after 2 milestones had passed, or if there's any other maintainer model that we wanted to try. I'm quite open to other suggestions. I'm just keen to try something different and report back and see how it went.
So just a quick question, because I'm not 100% sure. So does this suggest that rather than reviewers that are randomly assigned through a roulette, we actually review our code sort of internally by people who also have domain knowledge because they work in that specific team?
Yeah, I found that over the 51 that I reviewed, well, not reviewed, over the 51 that I assessed over the past couple of days, either we were pinging someone directly. So we were saying, please could someone in the Geo team, this specific person, look at this merge request, or people were picking up the reviews on their own without being asked. But it was someone inside of the Geo team that was doing that. The only time that we actually left it to the roulette and actually asked the person that the roulette suggested was 5 times. So it doesn't seem that we're really using the reviewer and maintainer roulette anyway. I know that other teams might rely on that more heavily than we do, but we seem to be keeping things inside of the team anyway. Well, I think that I'll leave that for further thought then, and I'll raise an issue to have some more discussion, but something we're thinking about, because we're coming up to the end of the milestone. And if we're going to try something different, I'd like to start trying that from the next one.
I will just raise my hands, because I think this is something that you need to decide, because I think probably no code will be reviewed that I write. If it did, it would not pass, and so I think this is I'll just do this.
Sure. No, I don't want. I also want, I'd like the whole team's opinion, because I don't want to just make a decision, given that also I don't do a lot of the coding either. So I just want to put it out there that the maintainer model is up for question, and keen to be part of trying to find what the solution is to it. So, Ash has got a very interesting point here about hand grenades and Tim Tams, and I feel like I forgot something. Well, I missed something from not being at Contribute. Does anyone know what this was?
Yes. So I think the hand grenade was a specific cocktail that I think many people enjoyed at Contribute. That seems to be very popular. It looked like something that would like light up under UV light to me. So it definitely had an interesting sort of color, and it I think is pretty strong. I don't know what the Tim Tams are.
Tim Tams are just the best biscuit. Tim Tams are an Australian biscuit that it's really difficult to find them anywhere else in the world. And Ash was keen to do a sweet exchange, but he didn't. It seemed that it didn't officially happen, so he was wandering around offering people Tim Tams, I think. Yeah.
I think I may prefer Tim Tams over Vegemite biscuits.
That's actually another question I wanted to ask is I know that all of you attended Contribute, and have you found that you've been able to keep up conversations with people that started at Contribute? Like have you started any regular coffee chats with anyone?
I have. For me, it was amazing to meet everyone, and I think I've also had the chance to interact with some people who were not in the Geo team. So I reached out to a few folks in the sales and customer success organization and set up coffee chats with them. And that's been really, really good, because I think, to me, having the opportunity to get to know them a little bit in person and then actually reaching out has made it much easier. And I think it was definitely hugely advantageous. So I think the personal introductions have, at least for me, made it easy to just like reach out and say like, hey, we had a quick chat at Contribute. Can we maybe like follow up? So I thought that was really nice.
Awesome. Is there anything else there? I didn't see anything else that's been added to the agenda while we've been talking, but was there anything else that's been on people's minds that wanted to talk about while we're all chatting?
I had one thing. I didn't add it to the agenda, but I will type it while I'm saying it, essentially. I think it has been pretty much my first month. So that's pretty cool. So thank you all for making me feel very welcome. And I'm pretty much done with my onboarding for a big onboarding ticket is essentially done. Just need to do a little bit of interview training. And that means that I'll have much more time to spend on Geo now, which is super exciting. And time flew by. I was a little bit on vacation on Contributes. It feels like I haven't really found a rhythm yet, just because it's been so in and out. But despite that, I felt very welcome by the team, and I just wanted to let you know that has been really positive. And so far, like, everyone has been really helpful. So thank you for that.
I'm glad to hear that your first month's gone well, and it's definitely nice having a PM on board that's paying attention to what's going in and how things are done, and it's great to have you with us. And thank you for adding it to the agenda. I see you typing it in now. Great. Anything else on anyone's mind? Okay. Great. Well then, thanks all for your time this morning. I'm going to put this recording up on GitLab Unfiltered, and I'll take a recording of the meeting that we have this afternoon as well. Feel free to join it again if you would like, but it's up to you. The point of having the two different ones was so that people in different time zones could join in. I'm just going to double check because I see Ash has just jumped online. I just want to check if he is going to join us. So I'm just going to give him a moment or two to respond there. Oh, there's Ash. Hey, Ash.
Hello. Sorry, everyone. Hello. Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay.
Hey, Ash.
Or perhaps we could jump back to your opening question, which was something interesting you've changed in your home recently. Throw you straight into the conversation.
Wow. Max, my son, likes to rearrange the furniture to be more suited to stopping invasions of make-believe animals and things. So currently our living room is completely rearranged. There's furniture all over the place. So it's interesting, but yeah, that's probably not what you're looking for, but that's something that's been changed.
Does it change frequently, or is there an optimal like animal stopping layout?
I think this is the current pattern is sort of at an L shape to create like a kind of corner. That's the current sort of ideal, I think. Yeah. I like the boxes in the background.
Yeah, I wish they were gone, but they are not quite there yet. But actually, it's not looking too bad. Our kitchen is hopefully functional by noon, so we can finally like start cooking again.
Ash, do you want to take us through the point that you had on the agenda?
So it's a few points because I was at my son's tennis and they were a bit late packing up. So yeah, I tried recording and it was awful. So I didn't want to submit that. So I thought I'd just do it live. So the hand grenades and Tim Tam. So the hand grenade was the cocktail of choice apparently in the French Quarter, and it's like as I linked, it's this kind of disgusting, slushy, icy, but they're huge. They come in sort of like these big sort of pipe things, and each bar tries to outdo the other, saying it's the most strongest, it's the most potent. And I saw that and I thought that might be a nice first drink when Douglas Valeri and I don't think Gabriel had one, but I think he was wise enough. It looked like what we would describe as coolant for your car, like car coolant. It was green, really bright green, and like sort of toxic looking. It was, I think from memory, it's essentially a Long Island iced tea, but has pineapple juice and Maduri, which is like a green liqueur. So all the white liquors and Maduri, and yeah. So anyway, we bonded over a hand grenade, and I think that was pretty much the start and the end of the evening at all in one drink. And then a few of us took some things over to do a sweet exchange. One being Tim Tams and the other being Vegemite biscuits from my side, and we never really got a chance to. We weren't very organised to do the exchange, so I took them all to the final party, and was a bit of a weirdo walking around offering biscuits to people who had already been well and truly involved in drinking. It was an unusual experience, and I could not get rid of the Tim Tams because I don't think beer and chocolate rather go very well. But yeah, it was a very amazing experience. Very tiring, I think, is probably consistent with others as far as it was a really intense experience, but it was so invaluable. I really hope that they do announce another one, but I'm not sure if there's been any news. Does anyone have any rumors or any gossip?
I haven't heard anything, but I've also not looked at my Slack or email for 5 days. So
no, I haven't heard anything either. But then I do remember when Contribute was announced. It was I hadn't been with the company very long, and they announced this this event, and I wasn't sure if this was the company event or if this was a customer event, because it was called Contribute, and we can all. I found the announcement very confusing because being so new, I wasn't actually aware that this was the way that it was done. So it wouldn't surprise me if I've completely missed the second announcement.
It would be good. I'd like to see more customers come along, because I mean it was a great experience to have one of the GEA customers there, and working through a problem like that was completely invaluable. And also just to hear how other companies and other not just from an enterprise perspective, but companies who run the open source or the core or the CE version in-house, to hear how they do interesting things. That would be amazing. Not just the big meet and greet. I hope they expand it to include more companies.
Well, maybe because the whole event is going to get so much bigger, maybe they'll have a change that more customers get invited along to it, just because the nature of the gathering might change. But it'll be very interesting to see how the next one differs, because I think it's going to be absolutely massive.
I think it would be nice to have more customers. I think that was very, very valuable, at least to me, to have some direct interactions. And I also like the notion of sort of integrating customers. I think that's kind of consistent with this notion of the wider GitLab community. I think customers are included in that to a certain extent. And I think that was quite nice.
Great. So anything else on people's mind today?
I need to read through all of the messages that I got from GitLab over the last 5 days. But the good news is that I think I managed to set up my email filters well enough so that they are nicely sorted into different categories, and now I can just go through them individually, which is I think quite good. Because when I didn't do that, I was just overwhelmed with like 100 emails from like various tickets and issues, and so quite excited to see what happened.
Great. Well, thank you so much for everyone for joining on the call. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, looking forward to chatting with everyone again soon.
Thanks for organizing. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.